What's up, people? This is Bread and Circuses. My name's Caleb Salvatore.
It's Nick Kohler, and we're here with Larry Sharpe. Can you believe it?
I know, right? It's kind of crazy. Larry, how's it going?
It's true. I made it. I'm still alive, and I'm here. Yes, it's true.
You're still alive? What do you mean by that?
I am. I spent a year and a half killing myself running for governor, but I'm still alive. So, yes, I'm here. I made it, and I'm back.
I thought you were concerned like that Cuomo sent his goons after you or something.
That's next time. Not this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we'll get started right into it.
I've got a question for you, Larry, because I know you used to be in the Marine Corps. What'd you do when you were in the Marine Corps?
That's true. I was in the Marine Corps for about 7 years. I started on the ground side. I was with artillery and infantry, mostly with artillery on the ground side. I spent most of my time overseas in Okinawa, Japan, Korea, the Philippines. I got a tattoo in the Philippines, my USMC tattoo, which is required as a Marine. You have to get one of those.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of my time doing that. Then my second tour, I was in intelligence and in surveying the air wing. I spent some of that time in Virginia and some of that time again overseas.
Cool. Yeah, I like hearing the 0311 stuff. That's 11 Bravo in the Army. So
yes, correct. 11 Bravo, of course. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was never in 03. I was never infantry, but I was once in a while. I got assigned to infantry here or there.
Mm-hmm.
If you may or may not know, if you're in the artillery, sometimes they'll take some artillerymen and assign them to infantry as forward observers to call in artillery.
Mm-hmm.
Or even to be a survey team.
Yeah, the Marine Corps works like really weird because like they treat them all as like Swiss Army knives. So
that's not weird. We are all infantrymen.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Some people don't know this. The Marine Corps does not have any corpsmen and has no chaplains because by Geneva Convention, those people may not be riflemen. They're non-combatants.
Yeah, corpsmen as in medics, right?
Correct. No medics. Correct. No medics. Because by Geneva Convention, they can't be riflemen. Therefore, they can't be Marines.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to borrow our medics or corpsmen from the Navy, and we borrow our chaplains from the Navy.
From what I understand,
there are no Marine Corps chaplains.
From what I understand from my medics telling me is that medics in the military, according to Geneva Conventions, cannot use any caliber round larger than a 5.56. So they couldn't use like a medium machine gun or something. And I don't think they can use anything automatic either.
They're supposed to be non-combatants. Mm-hmm. Now, does that really work? Who knows? But that's the rules.
Yeah.
Who knows who plays by those rules?
Those darn Geneva Conventions.
So you mentioned the governor race. I've never really met anybody who's like hardcore ran for office in the way you did. What was that like? I mean, just like you
Yes. One of the reasons I did it for many reasons. One of them was because I wanted to show people that it could be done as a third party. And the liberty movement as a whole, the Libertarian Party, has a very bad culture of running. We run terribly. We run with an individual. This is the normal way of running. I've got the liberty message, so I'm going to run for office. So everyone will vote for me because I say liberty stuff. Then I talk about liberty and freedom. Nobody cares. The party's broken. We get no help. We begin to collapse at the end. We do terrible in the end, and we go, Libertarian Party sucks, and we never run again. That's the norm. I want to break that norm and say, run a regular campaign. It can be done. I had literally hundreds of people in my campaign, dozens who were directly, 7 directors. And what happened was half those people were in New York State, the other half weren't. So what did I do? I went up building infrastructure throughout the country. People now know how to run a real campaign. They've been part of it. They've seen the pain. They've seen how it works. They know how to raise money. They know how to set up events. They know how to do social media. These people now others can use. I was trying to build infrastructure out. This was important. It's what I wanted to do. It's one of the reasons why I did it. But on top of it, even more important, I wanted to, now that I'm done running, help others. We also have a very bad culture. We don't help each other. We run, then we walk away, and that's the end. No, I'm here. I'm still here to help. I'm here to assist. I'm here to help build, right? In my state, New York, there are 62 counties. We only had 18 county organizations total. That's it. Out of 62 counties. Now we're working on 40.
Nice.
No, wow.
Massive increase.
Yeah.
I am building out the party, trying to make things work because what we need is infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, our culture has been get ballot access so we can run a bunch of candidates. And it's still many people believe that. It is a terrible idea. Please don't do that. I'm going to run because I can put my name on a sheet of paper. Please don't waste my time and energy and my money doing that. One of the biggest barriers I came up against was people not wanting to give money to me because they thought it was a waste of time and energy, a waste of money. They thought it was a waste. Why? Because most are a waste. We run because we think to give people a choice. Nobody cares. That's not why people vote for you. That's why we get our ass kicked all the time. No. If you want to run for office, I'm going to say something that a lot of people disagree with. And I don't care. It's what I feel. If you go, I believe in liberty, so I should run. Please don't waste my time and money. Don't run. All you're going to do is waste other people's time, money, and energy and give us a bad name. But Larry, we have to have a name on the ballot. Why? Why? I don't understand that. Why?
Yeah.
Right? I don't get why we're doing that. So my biggest issue here is it's branding. It isn't branding. Branding's the individual, not the party. People come to the Libertarian Party almost always because of somebody was speaking and it made sense to them, so they come to us. We need better candidates. What does that mean? Better infrastructure. I don't want 7,000 libertarians running next year. You know what I want? 70 with big teams.
Right.
Each one with 10, 20, 30 people on a team. We start building out teams, we build up infrastructure. If we build up infrastructure, we'll have better candidates. If we have better candidates, better infrastructure, we'll win. That's not going to happen this year. For some people it will, but for most it's not going to. But can that happen in 2020, 2022, 2024? Yes, but only if we take the time to build that infrastructure. And that's what I'm trying to do. I've been saying it forever. People haven't listened to me. So now I'm just doing it, and I'm hoping they'll follow.
That's the best way to do it.
I'm hoping they'll follow. I'm modeling the behavior that I want.
Do you think that it, maybe not so much now, but at least then, one of the problems is why then people in the Libertarian Party wouldn't come together is because, like, libertarians will agree fundamentally on ideas, but when it comes to lots of specific ideas, many ones that at least run or speakers in the party have many different varying ideas as to what that is.
Absolutely. And the problem is that there are many problems. One of them is we've been winning arguments and losing elections for 45 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we've been losing so much of our talent has walked away from us. They've gone someplace else. Why bother?
Do you think
and
they've gone into
stop fighting?
Do you think they've gone into the Republican Party at all, or
and Democrats both?
Both.
Right. They've gone to where they think they can win. So if they're in blue districts or blue states, they tend to go Democrat. If they're in red districts or red states, they tend to go Republican. They go where they can win because they want to win, right? That's their goal. And we haven't proven that we can do that, so they go someplace else. And then, of course, the second you lose, we go out of our way as a party to just take big, steaming piles of shit on each other like there's no tomorrow. As soon as I lost, everyone was like, Larry Sharpe sucks! Immediately. Everybody, let's take a dump on Larry Sharpe. I got it. The difference is I knew that already. Right? I was ready for that. The one thing that I knew what I was getting myself into is I knew I would bust my rump, lose money for a year and a half, struggle, and then in the end, if I didn't do well, everybody would take a dump on me. I knew that.
Right.
So I wasn't upset about it. What did make me a little upset is how hard my team took it. Right? I knew people were going to yell at me. I don't care. I don't care what happened to think anyway. But my team, it did bother me. The people who dumped on me most were those who I cared about least. To be forward. There were people who were just like, I'm just going to be mad, but they don't do anything. They sit around and just complain about shit.
Were they like other people in the party or anything?
Oh my, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no. And no one else cared.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans didn't care at all. They're like, bye, Larry, whatever. Have a nice day. It was libertarians who took steaming dumps on me.
Yeah.
It was them without question. But I knew that, and it was fine. I just kept going. I didn't care.
From their computer while you worked and they did nothing.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yes. But the reason why I didn't care is I knew that if I kept going, people would still follow and come into the party. Right? And that's what I want. Right? The solution, to quote Michael Pickens, is dilution. Right? More people coming to the party is going to make the party better. And the guys who are just mad at the world will eventually either go away or wind up joining us, I hope. Look, when it comes to the more radical or audacious or whatever they want to call themselves, whatever that group of people is, I want them to stay. I don't want them to leave. And most mainstream politicians in this party want them to go away. They want to purge them. And I know that's why they're afraid, because they're afraid of a purge. I get it. It's a valid fear, but not from me. I'm the only one saying, I don't want you to go, right? If you've been around for 10, 20 years in our party and you get upset, and many do because now there's new people in and they don't like the new people, right? Because they're not libertarian enough. I get it. Most people who come into our party are not going to be libertarian enough. That's by definition. They're just walking into our party because their party sucks. They figured it out finally. So they stumble into ours. But if they come from the right, what are they hoping? They're hoping for a Republican light. If they come from the left, they're hoping for a Democrat light. We're neither, but they want it to be. So of course they're going to act that way. But we have to think about something. Do we make them angry and make them leave by being jerks, which is what many do? Or do we embrace them and say, Larry, thank you for bringing them. We'll take it from here. We're going to now train. I want the people who are hardcore to train the people that I bring in. My job isn't to train them. My job is to bring them in.
Right.
I bring them in. You're hardcore. Don't get mad and scream and yell how hardcore you are. I'm not impressed. You want to impress me? Train the people I bring in. Show them what the party's about. Teach them to be activists. Now we got something going on. That's why I want you in the party. If we get rid of the people who are the hardcore anarchists and such, if we do that, we purge, this party will become either Democrat light or Republican light, depending upon who comes to our party.
Yeah, which it seems to me like the libertarians, I mean, no matter how hardcore libertarian you are, if you're, straight up ANCAP or straight up just somebody, like you said, coming from one of the other parties trying to explore it.
Like a Gary Johnson.
Yeah, something like that. You're like the only ones that are out there saying, hey, we don't need more regulation. Like, I think that's what really sets libertarians apart from every other, even other third parties.
Because this is a nonpartisan show. We'll be the first ones to admit it. This isn't, we're not affiliated with any party on the show or anything like that. I
am.
I know you are.
Yeah, we know you are.
We know that. But our show in general. We might individually be, but the show in general.
Yeah.
What we've theorized in the past was that, what's your opinion on libertarians entering the Republican Party to take it over like the socialists did the Democratic?
Yeah, the socialists didn't do it by themselves. That's the issue, right? The socialists did it with a whole lot of money.
Right.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
A whole lot of money. And one of the things that there's actually a good example of that is that Netflix special. Was it Bringing Down the House or something like that?
Is that the AOC one?
It has AOC. It's several people that they call it the AOC one because she won.
Yeah.
But there were tons of people they all tried to make happen.
Yeah,
there was a lot of money and energy behind this. It wasn't like I want to be very clear. She's my congressperson, by the way.
Oh,
literally.
Wow. What do you think about her staging those photos?
So let me be clear on a couple of things. One, I want to give the woman credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
She busted her rump for that seat.
She did.
Did she? Yeah.
Yes, I'll give her full credit. I'm not a fan, and I'm not going to vote for her. But I'm just being clear. The woman deserves that. She busted her rump for that seat, and she deserved it. She earned it. That's all I'm going to say. She earned that seat. So to be clear, that's good. But she didn't do it just because she was great. She did bust her rump, but she also had a lot of backing. There's not enough backing in the Libertarian Party to take over any party.
Oh,
that's a fantasy. That's a fantasy. Trying to take over the Republican Party is silly. It's never going to happen, ever. It's a joke. Trump did it because he had lots of money and he was famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, he could do it. If I had billions of dollars and was famous, I could do it too. I don't have that. No one in our world has that. That's a fantasy that's not going to happen. So, instead, we should stop thinking about that. Here's my reason why. Look at guys like Amash, Massey, Rand, who are the libertarian side of the Republican Party, liberty side of the Republican Party. They're completely ineffective. Totally ineffective. They do nothing. I love them. Be clear, I wish they join our party. I love them. They're ineffective.
Well, they say Amash might after his Trump.
I hope he does. Here's the reality about Amash. Amash, while he's wonderful, is making zero impact as a Republican. Imagine if he was libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd make impact. Why? Because he would change things. Others would come to his side. He would be able to actually cross the aisle and vote with Democrats on this and Republicans on that. Imagine if in the Senate or the House, if in the Senate, we had just 4 libertarian senators, just 4, we would run the Senate because we're a swing vote. If we had 15 libertarians in Congress, we'd run Congress because we'd be the swing vote.
I would say, what if there were more, what if there were more Rands in the Republican Party then? What if there were more Masseys in the party?
Do you see them someplace? I don't see them.
They've made it clear that they're not welcome.
Yeah.
And they're outliers.
Of course they're not welcome.
The libertarian Republicans.
Correct. They're not welcome. Why would they go? They're not welcome.
Right.
Of course they're not.
So
Of course they're not.
you mentioned that Ocasio-Cortez is your congresswoman. What are the odds What are the odds we see you run against her?
0.
No?
0. Let me explain why. People do this all the time to me. They go, Larry, you should run against this. You should run for that. You could win. I don't want to just win. Does it mean anything? I want to have impact and value.
Right.
If I can't have impact, why am I waiting? So I can win? What, I'm going to make less money than I make in my business when I'm being some local city councilman, and then I have to vote on crap that I don't care about, and then no one will ever listen to me ever again?
Mm-hmm.
That's my victory? I'll pass on that. No, thank you. But running for governor did many things. I got to cross the entire state. I got to build out New York State better than any other state. New York State is going to have the best infrastructure, Libertarian Party, in the entire nation. That is going to happen. Why? I'm still traveling to make it happen. It will happen. We will be what everyone else will desire, what they'll want to be. And New York State was ranked 50th by Cato and Freedom, the worst. If we can do it, so can any state.
I'm curious.
Not just that.
New
York State. Sorry?
I'm sorry. Who is ranked highest in infrastructure? Because I can't think of any state that really.
Oh, I don't know. No idea. But all I'm saying is, no matter what, will be the best.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not even done. New York State, they used to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get us on the ballot every 2 years. That's done now.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah.
We just saved Libertarian Party tens of thousands of dollars in perpetuity because we're never losing ballot access again. We only need 50,000 votes in New York State. We'll register more libertarians than that in the next 2 years. So we're fine. That will be done forever in perpetuity. So again, I had impact. Not just that. I was able to become nationally known.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, impact, right? I had impact. If I run against Ocasio-Cortez, I'm going to lose and have no impact.
Yeah.
And now I have to go out and ask everybody for money again and time so I can have no impact? That's why people won't give us money now, because we flush it down the goddamn toilet.
Yeah.
I don't want to flush money down the toilet. If I want someone to write me a check for $10,000, for $5,000, for $20,000, I better invest that. I'm a business guy.
Yeah.
This has to be an investment. If you put your money in me last year, you got an investment. The Libertarian Party is saving money. The movement's moving forward. We have more infrastructure than we've ever had before. And people know how to run an actual campaign. And I am now the model others have to follow. I can point my finger and say, why aren't you doing that? I did it. You do it. But Larry, I got a business. So did I. Larry, I got a job. Me too. Larry, I got a family. Then don't run. Stop complaining to me. Either run with all the garbage you have, or shut up and don't run, and instead give the couple hours you can to someone who can run. I would rather, if you're that busy and I get it, some people have issues. I got it. I'm okay with that. But then don't run. Take the 2 hours a week you can afford to give and give it to somebody who can run and be their social media expert, be their event planner, be their media chief. Be something. Be their volunteer coordinator. Be something. Go out there, knock on doors for 2 hours. Make some phone calls for an hour. We need all of those things. Be that person, and I'm good.
So that's kind of interesting. You look at running for office almost like running a business.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think Trump did the same thing. I mean, yeah.
Trump, I mean, he used his personal brand, like you said. It was to increase a personal brand, and it turned out really well.
Absolutely. I'm working on mine too. I'm starting a new podcast / radio show called The Sharpe Way. You can go to sharpeway.com. Hopefully it'll be coming out in July. That's my hope, in July. I'm heading to Freedom Fest. I'll be there promoting it. So, yeah, I'm trying to do exactly the same thing.
Definitely. One of your comments, I don't remember if you said it on the Rubin Report or if it was on Rogan. You were talking about running on the platform of hope versus fear.
Yep.
I love that.
Yes. Absolutely, because the problem is right now they all run on fear.
Yeah.
Right? And they can. If it's duopoly, fear works. That's why they use it. Right? Because there's only two options. So this guy's evil, so I'll protect you from this guy. I don't have to actually do anything. I just have to try to pretend like the worst guy didn't get in power, and I win. That's all I'm doing. Making sure the other guy doesn't get in power, because every election is the most important election ever.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
And everyone, nothing changes.
Yeah, I feel like
I've got to be the guy who shows you there's some hope. Because if I show you there's some hope, maybe reality somebody will care.
I feel like you see more smear campaigns, definitely just across elections in general. And one thing I really liked about what you were doing when you were running was you weren't doing any smearing. You were doing just here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plans. And I really wish more people would do that when they run. It's kind of
am trying to model the behavior that I want from others. That's what I'm trying to do. Yes.
Definitely. And, and running against somebody as despicable as Cuomo, that'd probably be pretty tough for me not to call him out.
Well, I did call these guys out here. I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't focus that on my campaign, right?
No.
If you look, in my election, we had two guys running, Cuomo, who was our governor, the Democrat, and Molinaro, who was the Republican who ran. He's an executive in one of the counties.
Right.
That's who ran, for those of you who don't know, who are not in New York State. Cuomo's entire campaign was, Trump is evil. I'll protect you from Trump. That was the campaign. Now, Molinaro, the Republican, his entire campaign was, Cuomo's corrupt. I'll protect you from him. That was both of their campaigns completely.
Yeah.
I was the only one saying, yeah, they're both corrupt. It's fine. I'll give you some solutions.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the biggest issues with New York was the SAFE Act. I think a lot of people were unhappy about that. Can you kind of explain what that was? Because I never really understood it.
Sure. The SAFE Act, for those of you who don't know who aren't in New York State, the SAFE Act was enacted right after Sandy Hook shooting in Connecticut. And when it happened, our governor thought, wow, tragedy. Now I can do something. And he pushed through the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act basically made a bunch of things that look scary, pieces of plastic, magazines more than 7 rounds, illegal, literally overnight.
Yeah.
So you purchase the 10-round magazine legally. You own it legally. You have, say, maybe a certain scope or something on your magazine, or a handle on your, a scope on your rifle, or you have a handle on your firearm that you purchased legally. It is now against the law. And you are now, I'm not joking, you are now overnight a violent felon.
Oh.
Because in New York State, any gun crime is by default violent.
It's ridiculous.
That's correct. So if, I'm not making this up, if I go to a gun range and pick up a firearm and I'm not licensed, whether that firearm is loaded or not loaded, if I pick it up and a cop sees me, I am now a violent felon. Because I held a pistol and did not have a license. Loaded or unloaded is irrelevant. That's how New York State works. The gun itself is magically evil, and therefore touching it makes you evil if you haven't been blessed by the state. You are by default evil. The SAFE Act made all these things illegal overnight and made you a violent felon overnight. Literally, it made about 4 million, give or take, New Yorkers violent felons overnight. In fact, it even made cops felons. They had to change the law because they did it so fast, they actually made all our cops felons too.
That's cuckoo
That's
for
true.
Cocoa Puffs.
Wow.
Yes. So then they changed it, right? And now they changed it. Now you have people going to jail for the SAFE Act constantly. And here's the problem. You have a big disconnect between, this is every state, but New York State's a big example of this, between city dwellers and rural or suburban dwellers. Huge disconnect.
It's like California.
Yes, many states have this, right? So most urban dwellers aren't part of gun culture at all. So they have no idea what it is.
Right.
So here's as far as they looked. They said, well, it says safe in it. Beautiful marketing, by the way. I mean, perfect marketing.
It's like the Patriot Act.
Patriot Act, perfect example, right? It says SAFE Act, and we haven't had any school shootings since Sandy Hook, therefore it works. And most New Yorkers actually support the SAFE Act. Most do.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. Most New Yorkers totally support a SAFE Act. They do. Republicans, Democrats, very well, because they don't know any better. So I would tell them how the SAFE Act actually created a black market, because now people aren't registering their weapons because they're afraid. Now people aren't saying what happened because they're afraid. People aren't talking about their ammunition because they're afraid. People are buying ammunition on the black market because they're afraid. People are doing terrible things because they're afraid. They're creating a black market. But I'm not even done with that. The SAFE Act also requires all medical personnel to report to the state anyone who has any mental issue at all. So now we've just made a medical personnel state part of a secret state police. So this has literally happened. Some guy gets in a car accident. They're bringing him to the emergency room. The nurse attending there goes, "How are you feeling, sir?" He says, "Oh, I'm in so much pain. I want to kill myself." Aha, suicidal. Cops go by, take his firearms.
That has to prevent like NYPD and stuff from wanting to go and do like PTSD treatment and stuff because that classifies as a mental disorder. So
cops are okay. See, cops are the exception. They wrote that rule in afterwards.
What about firefighters or what
veterans?
about
veterans? Firefighters, no. Veterans, no. That's the other point I bring up. It actually affects veterans more. Veterans are more apt to have firearms and more apt to have medical issues like PTSD, TBI, and depression. Mm-hmm. They're more apt to have that. So you've literally crippled our veteran community. Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And still, most New Yorkers still support it.
Well, it's that I've always said that there'll be two backdoor ways for them to carry out gun bans. Number one would be to declare veterans mentally ill. And the other way, and it's kind of sneaky and a lot of people are torn on it, is legalizing marijuana as a state, because if you have a card to purchase marijuana, it shows up on your background check and you can't get a firearm.
Absolutely true. Yep. Which is why we have to get someone who will take marijuana off the Schedule 1 list. I mean, cannabis should not be in the Schedule 1 list as a federal Schedule 1 list. It's embarrassing. That's true.
Absolutely
It's just hurting veterans. That's all it is.
It hurts a lot. It hurts business too. What I have heard from really high level business intelligence people in big companies, in finance companies and everything, is many of them have these backdoor folders basically hidden in the back of the filing cabinet of what are we going to do when it becomes legalized federal, because I think it's gonna. And what's going to happen with all these businesses, all these banks, all these companies, all these finance companies is once the day that goes legal federally, there's going to be a huge cash grab. It's going to be chaos.
They're already doing it, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah. They're already doing it. I spoke at an event last year. It was a cannabis investment summit in Manhattan, in New York City. Now, why was it New York City? Because all the bankers were there.
Yeah. Right.
So they had a summit.
Yeah, Wall Street's
there were literally hundreds of millions of dollars being invested there. None in New York State. All in Colorado, California, overseas, everywhere except New York State. How stupid are we as a state?
It's ridiculous. Didn't they just legalize it, or was that?
No, they were supposed to, and of course,
I think Illinois did it like today.
I knew Illinois did it like this week, and
New York did not.
Oh,
Well, officially, you can get medical marijuana in New York State.
Right.
Officially, but it's so hard and so impossible. Almost no one does, and the black market's huge.
Yeah,
almost everyone buys their weed in the black market.
Well, which is
my whole goal was. If you remember my whole goal, I wanted to regulate cannabis like onions.
Like onions.
Yes, correct. That was my whole thing. Regulate like onions. Why did I say that? First thing is, this way farmers can actually grow cannabis.
Yeah.
You're a small farmer right now. Grow some cannabis as a cash crop, like onions. Do you need a special permit to grow onions? No.
People actually do that already in Colorado, because I personally know a guy that does that in Colorado already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go do it. Now, they tried it in California, and California got mad because the legal people pay so much tax, then the illegal people were able to sell it cheaper. They got mad. So you would think California did the right thing and said, you know what? Let's change tax policy. No. They said, let's send cops up there to seize all the illegal farms and all the illegal cannabis. And then, I'm not joking, let's hire a vendor to burn all the cannabis.
Oh my God!
Yes, that was their answer.
Not in Cali.
Yes.
They don't.
In California.
They don't do anything that makes sense up there. I remember hearing there was what was it? It was like mountain lions or something were taking over. They were overpopulating. You couldn't go in and shoot them. Like they would not issue permits to hunt them. Instead, they hired professional sharpshooters to go in and kill them, and then they had to bury them. So they couldn't eat it. They had They spent money instead of making money.
Yeah. Correct. Yes, that sounds right. Sounds right.
Sounds like Cali.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect. Yes.
Well, they tried to do a sneaky thing in Ohio a couple years ago with weed too. Staying on that subject, was they tried to legalize it and they put it to the ballot, but like somewhere on the bottom of the initiative was that only like 3 people had the license to distribute it, and they were close friends with the governor or something.
That is literally why New York State hasn't done it yet, because we haven't figured out a way to cronyize it.
Yeah, that's literally how like the Soviet Union was when it came to that kind of stuff. Literally.
Absolutely. That's how Russia is now.
Yeah.
That's
how Russia is now. right? When they sold off all the state stuff, they went to all the buddies, all the friends.
All the oligarchs, I think is the word for it. Yeah.
Oligarchs, absolutely. There are some people who believe that Vladimir Putin is the richest man in the world.
He could be.
Yeah, he could.
He could be. We wouldn't know.
Yeah.
No.
He's going to hide his money. You don't know. But some people believe that because he has his hands in every single business that he's given all the money to.
And you look at it officially, I mean, rubles aren't really worth that much in the world market. So.
I've heard that, I think I've actually been fact-checked and corrected on it, that Russia's economy is like the size of the state of Texas. And
it doesn't matter. All the oligarchs own stuff outside of Russia.
Right. Yeah. They have investment.
Why do you think New York City still has a massive real estate boom?
Yeah.
So Russia and Chinese oligarchs buying $10 million apartments.
Yeah.
The Chinese are really notorious. Chinese businessmen are really notorious for doing that, like huge Chinese companies getting huge real estate.
The Chinese literally have a tourism system to where they make sure that their wealthy families have their babies in America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not joking. They literally have. So I'm a Chinese oligarch and my wife is pregnant. They wait till my wife is 6 months pregnant. Then we do a 3 to 4 month vacation in America. We pay for everything to make sure we're there. Doctors are there next to a hospital. She has the baby in America. Now that's an American citizen. Then they go out to China.
If I'm not mistaken, Saudis do that too, don't they?
Sure, absolutely. And the reason is they know. And anywhere you have an oligarchic system, right? At one point you make one mistake, you become a criminal. And when you become a criminal, then the government seizes all your assets, puts you in jail, and takes your assets and pays off the debt. That happens in Russia, happens in China, happens in happens everywhere. Once you are the bad guy, whatever the bad guy is. They know this. But they also know that America won't stand for American citizens being put in jail. So what will happen? The kid is saved.
Yeah.
Right? The kid's saved.
Huh.
So when the parents get arrested, the kid won't be arrested. The kid goes back to America. Right? Not just that, if the kid wants to go to college, he's an American citizen. He can go to college. Right? So he gets to come back. Not just that, he can buy property in America too. So whether the Chinese guy wants to not buy or cannot buy property, his son can. His son's an American. So his son buys, I'm not making this up, they'll buy 2 or 3 or 4 $10 to $15 million apartments. That's how they get their money out of the country. Right? So they own 3 or 4 $50 million apartments in Manhattan somewhere.
Instead of having like liquid assets, they have just these physical real estate ones in
because
America.
You can't move the actual dollars around, right? Governments will see that and stop you.
Right.
So you buy some massive, say 4 $10 million apartments. You do that. I'm not joking. It's the kind of money they spend.
And big city and state governments are happy to have their real estate records being inflated.
Yes. There are literally management companies in New York City. Their job is just to make sure the empty apartments are taken care of because no one lives there, right? Their job is just make sure that the mail's collected, bills are paid, someone comes in and dusts every 3 months. That's their job. They get paid for this, right? So all of a sudden now the oligarchs are in trouble. What do? They flee the country on the backs of their kids, hopefully. They come to the States. All they have left is these 4 apartments. So 1 they live in, 1 they rent out for income, and 2 they sell to live on. They're done.
And that's no small feat having those too, because real estate in like saying New York City is huge. You could take those, literally liquidate all 4 of those, move to like Mississippi or something where the cost of living is. You live like a king.
100% yes. 100% yes.
Why is the cost of living so high in New York City? Is there any? I've always wondered that. Sure.
It's grossly simple, to be forward with you. We are a metro area of 16 million people.
Yeah.
That's what it is. New York City itself, not including the metro area, just the city itself, is larger than 40 states.
Yeah.
There are only 10 states bigger than just New York City. If you then add the metro area of New York, there's like 3 states bigger than that metro area. That's it.
And
Texas,
isn't that
Florida,
like,
and California? That's it.
Isn't that too like the whole New York City metropolitan area is like 70% of New York's population as well, or some ridiculous number?
No, it's not. There's about 18 million New Yorkers total, and about 8.5 are New York City residents. So it's less than half.
Okay.
Actually, it's worse. Illinois is worse. I think Chicago's like 60% of Illinois.
Okay.
We're not. We're about 40%.
They're losing residents quickly, though.
Like there's no tomorrow.
And
we lose
businesses,
over 100,000 every single year. They flood out of our state. Our state's a disaster.
How many companies move out of there?
There's no tomorrow. Say again?
How many companies move out of New York a year?
Thousands.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh, then just move out, just die on the vine.
Yeah.
Just go away. Yes, all the time. It's a constant thing. Our state's in a lot of trouble. We're really in a lot of trouble. We are on our way down. Illinois is bad too. Illinois is in trouble.
California is too. I think they sent U.S. Census released it last year. Like there's literally a net loss of people from like all those three states.
Well, I mean, we're in Omaha. I can't tell you how many people I know from Chicago that have moved here.
They flee. They're literally fleeing those states because, you know.
Yeah.
There are so many New Yorkers in North and South Carolina. They have a name for us. They call us halfbacks. Because we moved to Florida and halfway back. They literally call us halfbacks. That's how many New Yorkers are rushing to the Carolinas.
Is there one reason, do you think, that people are moving out so quickly, or is it just...
It's oppressive. There's high taxation and no opportunity. Done.
Yeah.
High cost of living and no opportunity. That's it. The only reason why New York City is growing, New York City now is no longer growing. New York City is a communist state. It's basically a communist enclave.
Yeah.
It's only been growing, and now it isn't, because it is literally a magnet for talent, particularly, by the way, female talent. If you want talented women, hard to find a better place than New York City.
Really?
Talented, aggressive, forward, smart, savvy. We have a whole lot of them in New York
That's
City.
like the New York caricature right there, is somebody like that. So
definitely.
And it's true. It's a caricature and it's accurate. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of male talent too, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying as a percentage, we have a lot of powerful, smart, savvy, educated female talent here in New York City. If you're looking for that, it's tough to find a better place.
Yeah, if your population is like, of course, it's going to be more women like that, you know. So that's pretty funny.
Well, but people know that if you come to New York City, you're looking for that, and women know that too. So they come here to be great, to do that, to make those steps. But the cost of living has become so bad that even they're leaving now, and we're finding other areas and other ways to make that happen. A lot of it's happening now in Charlotte. You know, you're finding it in other areas that you didn't find before.
There's a lot of publishing companies in New York, and that is an industry that's just dominated by women. Are they fleeing there too, or?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're finding. Look, again, someone was posting on Facebook something like, you know, why does this 4-bedroom place cost me $1,200 a month? I'm like, 4-bedroom in Manhattan is like $9,000 a month.
Yeah. That's like my apartment.
I know what you're talking about.
My apartment's like $4,000 a month in New York or California.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
And we like being in the Midwest, when I hear people from, say, the East Coast complaining about like shortage of job market, I'm like scratching my head,
can't relate.
I can't relate, because there's literally labor shortages here in the Midwest.
We're begging people to come here to work where we're at. It's completely different, just two totally different worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing you find, though, is in many cases, we can't get people to work for 2 reasons. One, most of the jobs that we need are now that we find we can't find people are physical jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Physical jobs.
There's
plumbers, electricians, masons, carpenters. And we have spent the last 20 years telling our youth, that's stupid. Don't do that.
There's an interesting thing with that with England. I just read this today, actually. Since they have, been getting out all of the EU workers and everything in the construction field there in England, the average wage of like just a basic construction worker has it's just shot up. It's gone up to like 40 and a half thousand, basically like $41,000 a year just for doing like entry level construction work. Like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, no, I get it. It's actually true, right? Because you can't find bodies, right? Mm-hmm. The second issue we find is that we don't have a good work ethic.
Yeah. Because
we've been told that these jobs are no good, which is silly. These are fine, good jobs that lots of people want to have. But we've been told for 20 years, if you don't get a college education, you'll never be successful. That was a lie 20 years ago. It's a lie now.
There's huge trade shortages everywhere in the United States.
Well, and you can make a lot of money in trade, and you can be happy in a trade, and you can start a trade business if you want to be an entrepreneur. There's so many opportunities in the trades that we have thrown our youth away, saying that's not a good idea. Terrible idea.
We've perpetuated the myth that it's college or bust to these kids.
Correct.
It's despicable.
Because I've met many, say just specifically guys working in HVAC, right? make $100,000 a year here in where we from. That is almost doctor money, and they have no college.
Yes.
And they were told
Absolutely.
They were told by their teachers who make $40,000 a year that if they don't go to college, they're going to fail.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct.
And you know, I don't know if it's necessarily that they say college or fail, but they push you and steer you so much into the college level that it's like it's like implied that if you don't go to college, they don't explicitly say it.
But the issue is, this is the reason why the incentives are wrong. This is the issue why. At the state level and at the federal level, we fund education because that's the only way we can get educated is with state and federal funding. Terrible idea.
Right.
But then we decide, how in the world can we grade these schools? How do we grade them? By how many kids go to college.
Yep. Yeah.
That's how we give them money and grade them. Well, if you give them money and grade them and incentivize them by sending kids to college, what are they going to do? Send kids to college.
Yep.
How about instead you grade them by, do you have happy graduates who do something they want to do?
Yeah, right.
If you did that, they might actually care about that, but they don't. That's the problem.
That was I can remember because I actually did end up going to college, not right out of high school though. I can remember my counselor telling me, because I said I wanted to take a semester off before I went to college, and they made that sound like that was going to be the worst mistake of my life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, why do I want to commit thousands of dollars in debt to something I don't know? Like, I got judged for having a bunch of tattoos in my teens because that's a long-term commitment. I'm like, but I'm expected to commit 6 figures worth of debt to have, to something I may not want to do at the age of 18 when my brain's not developed.
We can even just deconstruct it even further as to how they do this, right? Because schools here, right, the state university, what they do is they offer these high schools, hey, do these classes in high school that we offer, and you can come to us and already have like 1 year, 2 years worth of your college already done, but you got to come to us.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just that slight pushing in there that people are going to think, well, shoot, yeah, that's a great deal. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go to school.
But there's also actually a backlash right now against education for many of the newer up-and-coming companies, right? If you look at the most, cutting-edge PR companies, most cutting-edge tech companies, most cutting-edge social media companies, many of them are looking and going, oh, master's degree? No, thank you.
Yep.
It's a no hire.
Yeah.
Because over-education,
yes,
Well, it's
that's correct.
Over education, and if you run a company, especially in the digital world where everything's evolving, the 4 years you spend in school, half the time that stuff's outdated.
Yeah,
you threw that in the garbage, right? People, yes. If you went to school unless you go to Ivy League, and Ivy League isn't a better education, it's a better network, right?
Yeah.
If you go to Ivy League, it may be worth it because that's a better network. But what you learn in B school, MBA, B school, who cares? It's useless in 2 years anyway.
Right.
And it's probably backward. I'm a trainer, so I do for a living. I was doing it today. I was doing leadership training for a company in Manhattan today.
Yeah.
I was in London about 3 weeks ago doing leadership training in a company over there. I do leadership training. One of the things I do often is break people of the old stupid management habits, which are still being taught in college today.
Yeah.
Right? They teach today things like, make sure you know who's going where, like it's industrial age. This is the post-industrial age. That kind of management's been gone for years, and AI does it better than the average. So, no, we need to be leading people in a post-leadership, a post-industrial age.
What are some
and how can we do that?
What are some of these other old like management things that these higher ups are doing in companies?
Sure. A 5-year plan.
Oh yeah.
A 5-year plan is a joke.
Well, yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 days.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I teach 3-year plan.
Yeah.
I don't teach 5-year plan. And a 3-year plan's a stretch. But we have to look out somewhere. We have the investors. We have to have some concept. 3-year plan. They still teach 5-year plan. Why?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The world changes in 5 years. Whatever 5-year plan you have is useless. Most will teach 5-year plan, then they put up on the desk and never use it.
Yeah.
I teach a real 3-year plan. I also don't teach project management. That's almost useless. I teach project leadership, which is motivating people to move through the process. Why? There's software now that manages the projects better than you ever could.
That's my thing, because I do work in management in a corporate environment. I won't obviously name names for lots of conflict of interest, but we're constantly getting emails saying, make these plans for your team, get an action plan together. And it's just corporate stuff. So I can send it to my higher ups and they'll say, oh, good job. But like in reality, I have to motivate my people. If I put a bunch of words on a piece of paper, that's not going to motivate them. They're not going to get out and do their job better.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes. And the problem is, particularly if it's a large organization, they are far more concerned about checking a box than actually being effective.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they want to check the box because they're middle management for their higher ups. Correct.
So the reason why they have you have a plan is so that when you fail, they can say, but boss, I put a plan together.
Yeah.
They can say,
that's what they have.
They can say, well, the guys below me just weren't doing the plan good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a great plan.
They may not even. The point is, if you have a plan, you're okay. And this is a common thing with all large organizations, but also it's a cultural thing we're having now. And that is, it doesn't matter if you're effective. It matters if you follow the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what matters. You follow the rules, right? And we have to break this mentality in business and also in our world. Why? When someone does something wrong with a company hurts people or does something, they always say the same thing. We're going to give you some money, but but no wrongdoing. We'll accept no wrongdoing. Why when they killed people is it no wrongdoing? Because they followed the regulations.
Yeah.
Which means there's nothing wrong. It's the first thing companies say. They literally killed people. We follow the regulations, therefore we're okay. So the outcome is irrelevant. The fact that they follow the rules is relevant. Whenever there's a tragedy, what's the first thing we say? What were the rules? We got to change legislation and laws. Maybe someone screwed up. So let's just keep doing regulations constantly. Is all we do is we think if we keep changing the rules, magically things get better. And if someone followed the rules, they are therefore righteous, regardless of outcome. This concept we have to break. And your bosses have the same issue. Let's follow the rules, therefore we're okay. And I'm trying to break people from that and get them to say, look, let's have good outcomes. Judge your communication, judge your actions, not just by their accuracy, but also by their results. What are you getting? Are you achieving something? If you're not achieving results, you still failed whether you follow the rules or not.
Right.
Maybe the rules are bad. I hear all the time. We need to, Larry, your rules thing, you're wrong because we have to follow the rules. Yeah, but rules are often wrong. Well, we got to follow the law. We can't be a nation of men, be a nation of laws. Neither of those is impressive. Laws change, men die.
Mm-hmm.
Principles don't.
Right.
How about we become a nation of principles? How about we are a company of principles? How about we an organization of principles? How about you are a person of principle, not of laws? There used to be a law where women couldn't vote.
Yeah.
That was the law of the land.
That's what I always tell people.
You used to be able to beat your wife legally if you were a male. Was that a good law?
It was I've heard historians say this in the first known civilizations, right? Like Babylonia, or Babylon, the laws there were intentionally vague and they were vague, but more like general, don't be a fair person or something like that as a law, because they would rely more on the judge's wisdom to determine if something was bad or not. So they would, that's how you would get around. Like, I think that's a real big problem with American laws is that they're very, 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 very specific. Yeah. And it just lets people worm through them all the time.
That's the issue, right? Mm-hmm. I've actually heard people who are judges and lawyers say this. They actually said, it doesn't matter what they thought. It matters what they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, is that stupid?
Right.
Now, when it comes to civil issues, that's not stupid, right? A contract between you and I that you and I agreed to, it is what we wrote, mm-hmm. and we should have read it before we signed it.
Right.
So in a civil issue, I completely get that. But criminal? I didn't agree to that criminal thing. I didn't agree to that law, and now I'm affected by it?
Right.
Yeah, you'll get like a case where a lawyer will argue, oh yeah, this driver was driving and he rolled the car and killed like a bunch of people. But hey, you look at our laws on here and he says, well, he was following the law, so it doesn't matter that he killed all those people.
Yeah, it doesn't say rolling a car.
Yeah.
It says if the car slides,
yeah,
therefore he's not guilty. And the judge goes, yep, that's what it says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. I agree.
So
no, I do think that. But we also do something else. In our criminal system, very often they simply use a rubric and decide how much time somebody gets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They use a rubric.
Right.
Why do I need a judge?
Yeah, the mandatory minimum sentences. Yep.
AI can do that way cheaper and more effective and fairer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
All of those. I don't require a judge then. I just put Watson up there, that intelligent computer, get like 25 Watsons. They're way cheaper. They don't ever have a day off. They can work 24/7. Let's just use Watsons and fire all judges.
Oh, man. Now we're going to get Andrew Yang in here talking about the UBI going to the judges now.
But no, what I'm saying is if you're not going to use your judgment, then I don't need you. And that's the idea of a post-industrial model. Your arms and legs are less valuable. Your brain is far more valuable. There are lots of tools that you can use to enhance your arms and legs. There aren't as many to enhance your judgment. You have to be able to have that judgment.
Well, and we've talked about that before. Those blanket laws, like I don't know what the laws are like in New York, but in Nebraska, our sex offender registries are really fucked up. So you'll have a guy that got drunk downtown and peed in an alley is now on the same list as a serial child rapist.
Yeah, correct.
And there's no difference.
You can't.
Let's be clear. All lists are unconstitutional.
Yeah.
All lists are unconstitutional, period. Because they're all forever.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no due process.
Yep.
Which means by default, it is cruel and unusual punishment. And you're being punished in perpetuity for a crime you committed. That is by default cruel and unusual.
Yeah.
No lists. If someone did something horrible to somebody, then put them in jail longer.
Right.
Right? Put them in jail longer. But once you come out of prison and you've done your time and paid your debt, you should get all of your rights back. No listing. Period. No listing.
One thing, and this is really big with New York because I was watching it. There's this Netflix show. You may have watched it already. It's the When They See Us.
Oh, my friend told me to watch that.
It's very good. What it is basically, like, long story short of it is, spoiler alert.
Central Park 5, right?
Yeah, Central Park 5. They get wrongfully put in jail because the person who was on the case just wanted to put somebody in jail, and they were there and they were like, okay, yeah, we can put you in jail. Obvious that they weren't supposed to be in there, right? Mm-hmm. But they get out, and now they have to, until they get exonerated 10 years after they get out, they have to be on the sex offender list for this rape crime that they didn't do.
They're on the sex offender list?
No, they were until they were exonerated, until they actually found it. What was it? It was like 10 years after they actually found the guy that did it. So yeah, but they were on the sex offender list for that amount of time. Like,
Jesus.
Well, this goes back to incentives, right? Well, how are cops incentivized? By arrests.
Yeah.
Make arrests, you're incentivized, right? That says you're a good cop. They're not looking at the actual neighborhood and saying it's safer or not. That's not part. That's not how they're graded. They're graded upon arrest. How was a DA given that? By convictions.
Yeah, a city looks at like their neighborhoods and they're like, oh, hey, this neighborhood's really safe. These cops that don't, they haven't been. What they look at is the cops haven't been making arrests in this neighborhood. Yeah. We don't need as many cops.
Well,
so.
Prosecutors are incentivized by convictions too, and that's a huge problem. You get the single mom that shoots the guy that breaks into her house, and they'll say, well, he was just there to rob her, and they'll take this woman to the cleaners, and even though she wins, she's $20,000 in legal debt now.
20? How about 100?
Yeah, minimum. Yeah, on a good day. Yeah.
Let's be clear how America works. If you can write a check for 6 figures or more, you can absolutely get a fair trial, and if you're guilty, fair sentencing. Absolutely possible if you can write a check for 6 figures or more. Mm-hmm. If you can write a check for 7 figures or more, you can get away if you're guilty.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
If you can't write either of those checks, you're guilty.
Yeah, it's like, look at celebrities like getting away with like crimes that Joe Schmo would go to prison for life for. Like,
correct.
And it's only public with them because people know who the celebrities are. You're not hearing about the business owners and the corporate high ups and everything that get away with like prostitution stuff.
I'm a diehard Pats fan, but I'll be the first one to tell you, if I were Bob Kraft, I'd be in jail now.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. It's terrible, right? Yeah. But that's how it works.
Yep.
That thing on its own is ridiculous. Why is it the prostitution thing? If there's no human trafficking, why is it illegal?
We have to realize something. People are thinking that now, which is why, if you've noticed, over the past 10 years or so, the government doesn't call it prostitution anymore. They call it human trafficking.
Right.
Nothing's changed.
Right.
They just changed the name because human trafficking sounds bad and people are against that.
Look at how the Trump administration justified taking Backpage down was that they only said, well, there's human trafficking going on it.
No, it's not.
Correct.
It's so like when I hear human trafficking, what I think is shipping underage girls in from Thailand.
Or shipping.
That's not some girl walks up to you, you meet some girl on Craigslist, you agree to pay her $500 and you do whatever nasty stuff.
Or even a bigger problem for us in
Yes.
the United States, shipping underage girls to Thailand, because that happens a
or
lot.
across the Mexican border.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's human trafficking.
Right.
Yes.
Right, but now they call a pimp, he's now a human trafficker.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Now, but here's the best part. Again, they decided, let's shut down Backpage because that'll end prostitution.
No.
What are they thinking? You know what it did? It made people less safe.
Yep.
It made people less safe. You actually punished poor, broken women more. That's what you did.
Yep.
You did it more. If you want to stop bad behavior, shine a light on it.
Yeah.
That is what actually stops bad behavior. Shine a light on it, let people see it, bring it into the light, and it will begin to go away. And when it's being done, they'll be safer. And when they want to get out, they can get out. It can actually happen. Nevada does not have the perfect model at all. However,
They have a model.
it's a model.
Yeah.
And with that model, which is not perfect at all,
Yeah.
and the data is in on this, women who move into prostitution in models outside of Nevada in America, almost always the way they get out of prostitution or sex work, I don't want to call sex work because sex work could include other things.
Right.
I mean prostitution in this case. They get out of prostitution through either prison or death. That's how they get out.
Yep.
But the Nevada model, women actually get out
Yep.
Yeah, because they make
without prison.
you get these
And they're
20
millionaires
Yeah,
at
you get these
25.
22-year-old
Yeah.
girls that make their first million at 22, and then they're
Yeah.
like, "Shoot, I
And-
can just go somewhere else."
And you
now."
know what's great about that though is all those girls are getting tested. It's in a safe environment, so you're not going to have some whack job that's going to choke them to death. And it's safer for the men that are that are purchasing the services and the women that are performing them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick rundown of all the times that prohibition has worked. Finished.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what we've talked about this on the show before when you talk about, free market solutions versus government. Governments have tried to outlaw prostitution for years.
Forever,
I read an
since the beginning
article
of-
For years.
beginning of
Well, how
time.
about
that's what I'm okay, so it's the beginning of time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the beginning
centuries.
of beginning of government.
Yes, it's the beginning of civilization. That's what I meant. And where you have a free app in Tinder, since that has blown up, I read a study that prostitution arrests and crime were cut in half from an app because people can just go hook up on the internet. They're not going to go pay somebody for it.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yes.
I've
But
always
even
been.
but even some people on Tinder are doing it for money.
They are. Yeah, they are. And that's their prerogative.
I've always thought of it like this, and I kind of extend this over to like marijuana legalization or any kind of prohibition. Is like you don't have to like morally support something to not have it be illegal by the government to do. It's like you can have prostitution. You can say prostitution should not be criminalized and still not go buy a prostitute,
Or on
dude.
a
Like
less extreme level, I don't think you should eat Buffalo Wild Wings every day and balloon up to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you can't do it.
there's actually people out there who think that like fast food should be really heavily regulated because
Cuomo?
of how
Or no,
yeah.
that's Bloomberg. That's Bloomberg.
Yeah, there's
But
actually people
okay,
that
well, how
do
about this? How about you shouldn't become an accountant and work yourself 80 hours a week in an accounting firm and drop dead of a heart attack at 50?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
That should be against the law too, right?
Yeah.
Because you might die. It's your health. There are people who their health falls apart because they work for 80 hours a week in some accounting firm, a law firm, or insert firm here, and they die at 50 from a heart attack because all they do is sit at their desk and eat all day.
Yeah.
And they die.
Well,
So should we outlaw that now?
there are people that would like to see the American work week decrease to like 32 hours, like mandatory. You're getting some crazy socialist stuff there.
Yeah.
But that's my issue, right? I'll be clear about this. I am completely okay, in fact, happy and wish we would legalize cannabis.
Right.
I'm one of the squarest guys you'll ever meet. I
Yeah.
don't even drink. The only thing I use is caffeine. So only the Mormons got me beat. If you're a Mormon, you got me beat. If you're not a Mormon, I'm the squarest guy in the room.
That's my thing.
Right?
Caffeine doesn't affect me until I haven't had it. So that's what
There we go. Yes.
I'm the exact same way. I like morally, I don't really like marijuana or any of the cannabis, any of that stuff. But like when it comes to legally, I'm like, dude, go smoke it. Like, leave me alone, dude.
Personally, if it were legal in my state, I would use it a lot more regularly because I am a drinker. I'll be the first one to let you know.
Sure.
I much prefer the effects of marijuana than I do the effects of alcohol because I'll tell you what, I'm not a huge pot smoker. I never have been. But when I use that for a night, I don't wake up going, what the hell did I do last night? Who did I text? How did I ruin my career? And I don't feel like crap.
I've found it that people that are morally against it and say, legalization of it is because you still see those people here in like the Midwest that have that kind of old way of thought. And I'm like, dude, the alcohol industry is the perfect model for it.
It is
like literally the perfect model because, well, maybe not.
Yeah, but the guy who's against marijuana, the guy who doesn't want to get cannabis products, that guy's hammered every weekend.
Yeah,
exactly.
On beer. That guy is hammered out of his mind every single weekend.
Yeah.
And he's like, cannabis is bad. I'm going to go do some 12-ounce curls.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to go do.
Well, that's my thing.
That's total hypocrisy.
Alcohol
What
is
I
actually...
tell people is, if you really think that the guy who sits in his basement, orders a pizza, plays Xbox, and smokes a bong all night, that's what he chooses to do in his free time. If you think someone should kick his fucking door in and arrest him, I'm not going to waste my time talking to you.
Yeah.
So that's a waste of time. It really is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Right.
Look, and this next thing, if I don't want you to do something, right? Say I don't want you to smoke weed.
Right.
I have every right to tell you so. I just don't have a right to stop you.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I can have a website, don'tsmokeweed.com, and tell you why it's so bad. And I can spend my own money and have a campaign. Don't smoke weed, it's bad. Nothing wrong with that. That's my freedom of speech. If I want to tell you not to smoke weed, I can. I just can't force you not to. And I hope that actually I don't care if you smoke weed. But in theory, if I did care, I can say it all day long. And I'd be right to try to stop you by not coercion, but by persuasion.
You could talk the same thing about prostitution. I mean, you see
Absolutely.
online all these people that actually like support or they like celebrate sex workers and everything. I'm in my head, I'm like, well, fuck no, man, they're prostitutes. You don't celebrate them, but I don't want them to be illegal for them to do it. I still want to talk shit to them.
Look, I don't care if someone's in the sex work industry.
Yeah.
What I care is if that was their only option.
Yeah.
Right.
That's bad.
Right.
Yeah, that is bad,
If your only option was the sex work industry, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I would hope that we could fix our society to where that's not the problem.
Right.
So I don't want that person in the sex work industry because they were there out of desperation. I'd rather them be in there because they've chosen to make that lifestyle change.
Right. And I think you can make that argument with drinking too. You see countries with, where the drinking age is 14, but it's more of a cultural thing where the parents will be like, you can have a beer at dinner. What those kids are getting integrated into it earlier. So they're not, I'm going to steal my dad's bottle of Captain Morgan and get shit-faced at 15, and that's how they figure it out.
I hear college kids say this like people just turning 21 when I'm at school all the time say drinking isn't as fun now that I'm 21. Like I hear people say that all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, well, we can talk about this. It's a good point to bring up, right? It goes back to prohibition.
Yep.
We decided many years ago that we were going to raise the drinking age from 18 to 21. I still remember I'm old enough to remember drinking age being 18, right? So it used to be 18. Back in those days when the drinking age was 18, the fear was if we have too much beer in high school was the worry. So if we raise the drinking age to 21, then there'll be less beer in high school. It actually worked. It did.
Yeah.
There was less beer in high school.
In the actual high schools, yeah. Congratulations.
Say again?
Yeah.
Yes, but what happened? Kids started smoking weed in high school.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to get high on weed than it was to get beer.
Well, drug dealer doesn't card.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Your drug dealer doesn't card you. So you go out there and say, hey, can I get some weed? He goes, sure, take it. So kids started smoking weed instead. But a second thing happened. When I was a kid, you got drunk. As you just said, you grab your father's beer or whatever, and you get drunk in your dad's basement.
Yep.
You get drunk in your room or in your mom's basement. So what? You with family and friends. You threw up. It was bad. Dad got mad, but nobody died. No one got in trouble. Now you don't. So what happens in college now? Binge drinking. Because you couldn't drink when you were at home. It was against the law. Right? So your parents won't let you. But you go to college, there's no adult supervision. So what do? you all drink. And who are you drinking with? Your mom and your dad or your cousin or your friend? No, with a bunch of frat boys that you don't even know who they are.
Yep. And
so what happens?
I
we get all kind of problems.
That creates a very dangerous environment for women too.
Yes, it does.
I mean, the
yes, it does.
College campus rape is out of control, and I think
yes, and it wasn't when I was a kid.
No,
it wasn't, because we were getting drunk in high school, so the people knew what their limits were by the time they got to college.
Yeah.
And I'd say probably most college rapes probably happen at these big parties.
Yeah, well, it's like you were saying, you get these kids that have never really drank before, and they have no idea what they're doing, and they just get stupid.
I mean, you just mix alcohol with anything.
Because it took me a long time to figure out you can't mix drinks, and these kids are throwing back vodka and Patron.
Yes.
I'm drinking one thing the whole night because I won't get stupid and I won't hate myself the next morning.
I think.
And the second thing is you're accustomed to having weed or some other drug like MDMA or something else in high school, because those are drugs you took in high school. So you come to college, what do? You smoke weed, take MDMA, and now you drink.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear if it was like in the military as it was for me with you, Larry, because you were around, that time where it had just changed up to 21. I saw all sorts of kids come into the Army, 18-year-old kids and everything, had never drank a day in their life. And of course, you're going to go in the military where the alcohol culture is like really big. And man, these kids would get messed up on that kind of stuff. And it's, I don't know.
No, I agree. It happened all the time when I was in the Marine Corps. And one thing was lucky is I didn't drink then either. I've never been a drinker. So I didn't drink. So I was basically the Papa Bear. I was the guy who made sure everybody got home.
Yeah.
I was pouring guys in the cabs.
Yeah.
I was pouring guys in the cabs. That was me.
You've never had a drink before?
I once in a while. I'm not that I don't drink, but it's very rare. For example, if it's like Christmas and we're having a toast, I'll drink.
Oh, okay.
Drinking isn't my thing. I'm not against drinking.
Right.
It's not my thing.
That's just kind of.
So I probably drink once a year.
Right. I can respect
because everyone else is drinking.
I like back to weed versus drinking. I have seen drinking just destroy plenty of lives. Like I think we all have. It's bad. It's weed, not really. I mean, the worst thing that happens when you smoke weed is you regret going through 40 chicken McNuggets.
I've definitely seen people that have just used all sorts of used marijuana their entire life, fucking 30 plus years, that are just like dolls.
Yeah, dude, there are people that overuse it and it makes them useless.
That's why I'll never go as far to say like marijuana is.
It's not harmless. There's people that can't control it, but there's people that can't control everything.
But there's a difference though. There's a big difference.
Illegalized though,
guys. There's a big difference here. If I smoke weed and become lazy because I smoke weed, if that's what happens, I've only affected me.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And if I choose to smoke weed my entire life and sit around playing Xbox all day, that sucks. It does, but it only sucks for me.
Right.
If I decide to get hammered every night and start fights, I'm physically beating up other people.
Or if you get in a car and kill somebody.
Others. I get in a car and I kill somebody. Yeah. I'm affecting others. If I'm going to sit and smoke weed and play Xbox all day, it sucks. I wish you wouldn't, but it's only affecting you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Zach says we are at 70 minutes here.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a really quick 70 minutes. That was a good episode.
Minutes. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Happens every time, guys.
We got to cut
Happens every time.
Anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah.
Yes, Sharpe Way. Sharpeway.com, the Sharpe Way Facebook page. Guys, I'm building out my own world here. Please join me. Help support it.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's that. I'm really pretty interested in going to listen to that podcast. So,
is it a podcast or like a live radio?
It will be a live radio show / podcast with phone calls that I will then put out as a podcast.
How long do you think the episodes are usually run?
I'm assuming an hour per is my assumption.
Okay, cool.
But I might do more. I mean, who knows? I might do more. I have literally been speaking sometimes for 4 hours straight.
Wow.
I mean,
this is our longest episode.
Yeah, so. One of them. Yeah. So
thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, for real, Larry. This is good. Good talk.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Peace out.
Deuces.